Well, here it is, the Gold Monster 2000. And, you know, if you look at this thing, if you've seen the 1000, you'll think, well, it looks the same as your 1000, just maybe it says 2000 here instead of 1000. And it is pretty similar outwardly. It's got a little bit bigger screen and a couple of things, and it does look similar. The rod that you have, the rod that holds the thing together, goes down to the coil, is a little bit different. It's much better. I actually bought a carbon fiber rod very similar to this for my 1000 just because I really like it. So that's an improvement, the rod, but there's of course a whole lot more improvements, and we're going to talk about the Gold Monster 2000 in this video. Now, some of you guys will probably say, hey, Chris, why'd you take it out and show us it in the field? And I got to tell you, that was 100% my intention. And I've got a spot that has produced some really small gold. I would never call these pieces nuggets because they're just little pieces of gold. I've gone over it with the Gold Bug 2. I've gone over it a couple of times with the Gold Monster 1000. And the last time I was there, I did get 9 pieces of gold, but the 9 pieces together with the Gold Monster 1000, the 9 pieces together were only about 0.2 of a gram. And so that means that the individual pieces averaged around 0.02 of a gram, which is pretty small stuff. So we're going to test the 2000 on a hunted out patch that has really small nuggets. There's really small gold pieces, not really nuggets. But until I can get out and do that, we'll have to handle with this. I had it scheduled, and my dad had some problems and went by ambulance into the hospital, and I needed to be here, so I couldn't go out and go detecting. I like detecting, but I love my family more. So let's talk about the 2000 and its advantages and disadvantages. And if you're thinking about buying one, this video will help you learn a lot and help you make that decision. So the 2000 is a multi-frequency VLF. Now, multi-frequency thing has been something that Minelab's been doing for years for a number of their detectors that are really oriented more to the coin and relic side of things. And there's big advantages to the multi-frequency thing, and we'll talk about that. Now, the multi-frequencies that they have go from 12 to 75 kilohertz. That's kilohertz is cycles per second, meaning it goes up and down 75,000 times a second. That's a lot. But there's disadvantages and advantages to basically the VLF frequency that you choose. I've had people tell me, hey, well, if high numbers are sensitive to small gold, which they are generally, but there's more to it. There's more to a metal detector than just the frequency that the VLF operates at. But why don't we just make it super high? Well, there's disadvantages to high frequency too. Yes, it's sensitive to small gold, but it's also more sensitive to hot rocks and to mineralization in the soil, and it's worse doing discrimination. So then you say, well, if less sensitivity to hot rocks and mineralization and better discrimination are good, well, why don't we lower the frequency down and get it down, 5 or 10 or less than that? That's where a lot of coin machines operate, is that, 5 to 8, that kind of range, the lower range. And the machines that are made the VLF machines that are made to try and do both, a lot of them are at 18 or 20, and that's a compromise between high frequency sensitivity to small gold and, easier discrimination and a better handling of mineralization. And then you say, well, can't we have it both ways, Chris? And well, that's what multi-frequency does. You get to look at discrimination and handling ground mineralization like a 12, and you get sensitivity to small gold like a 75. The 1000, the Gold Monster 1000 is a single frequency VLF. It just has one frequency, which virtually all gold, it is, and until now, all gold oriented metal detectors, VLFs, as far as I know, are just single frequency until the Gold Monster 2000. But like I say, Minelab has been doing this multi-frequency thing on their coin and relic machines for some years. They've adapted that technology for gold now. So you get the advantages of being able to see smaller gold and be able to handle ground better by having this multi-frequency. Another thing that Minelab has done with the 2000 is they've adapted some of their ground handling, because there's more to a metal detector than just the frequency, okay? It's a whole lot more. But in order to handle the ground signal has to be processed. In order to process the signal better and better ignore mineralization and hot rocks, they've adapted some of the knowledge that they have from the famous Minelab PI machines, you know, the SDC 2000, the 6000, the 7000, you know, the knowledge that they've gained in processing the ground signal to eliminate mineralization noise. They've adopted some of that into this detector. And so it makes it a lot better for handling ground mineralization. Now, the place that I'm going to test this with a really small gold, this ground is really mild. It has tiny gold, but it has pretty mild ground. I'm not saying there's no hot rocks, but there's relatively little trash and relatively little mineralization. And so it's great for hunting small gold. But one of the things about the multi-frequency is that it gives you a better ability to discriminate out hot rocks and that sort of thing, plus the signal processing that I just mentioned. And I've actually just watched a video that was done by a couple of friends of mine who, you know, they were out in Arizona and they had a Gold Bug 2, they had a Gold Monster 1000, and then they had the new 2000. And they found a target, and they tested it with the Gold Bug, and Gold Bug said there's something there. And they tested it with the Monster 1000 and said something was there. And they tested it with the 2000. The 2000 said there wasn't anything there. And so for a second, they're kind of like, oh, you know, what, is the 2000 less sensitive? And so they ended up digging the target, and it was the hot rock. And so the hot rock had fooled the Gold Bug 2, it had fooled the Monster 1000, but didn't fool the 2000. The 2000 said there's nothing there. It's just a hot rock. So a good machine. There has been some confusion. This idea that they adapted some of their ground signal processing concepts and ideas from their pulse induction machines. Some people have said, well, the 2000 is like a pulse induction machine. And no, it's really not like a pulse induction machine. It really is a VLF, but it's a multi-frequency VLF, like some of the newer Minelab coin and relic machines. Say, for example, the Equinox. So when you get out there, you can expect to find better discrimination and better handling of mineralization. I expect to see both better handling of soil mineralization, and you know, there's places that have really small gold but have nasty mineralization, and actually I know a place like that, but I can't get up there. I'm getting this machine in late November, and there's places in the Sierra where there's snow blocking the roads already, and so we'll have to wait for the spring. So I intend to do a series of videos on the 2000. Expect to see a number of these, me using this thing in various places in California and Nevada and maybe Arizona a little bit. So I'm going to be doing a series of these, just like I've done a series on the 1000. So, you know, expect to see more on the 2000. This is just the introduction. So another thing that it has this thing called echo wave sound. And basically what this is a sound discrimination system. When my friends and I have used the 1000 in the past, many of us have said multiple times, gee, I wish they'd have done this thing with the detector so that, you know, it makes a different sound on ferrous targets than it makes on the non-ferrous targets. And a lot of VLFs have that. Not a lot of gold machines have that. Well, this is the first gold machine that I know of that has this multi-frequency, so it's better able to discriminate, and you know, you can get that lower tone. And basically, when you're in the echo wave, you get a higher tone with a non-ferrous target, be like gold or lead, something non-ferrous, and a lower tone with the ferrous. you know, I was gotta say that other than the tonal thing, I was very happy with the discrimination level of the Gold Monster 1000. And if this is even better, well, it's like, hey, we're taking good and making it better. So it does have sound discrimination. The normal setting is it's got echo wave and normal. The echo wave is the sound discrimination setting. The normal goes back to the same kind of setting that the Gold Monster 1000 has, where, you know, it has different tones based on intensity of the signal, but it doesn't give a different tone based on whether it's iron or not iron. Another thing that this has that's really good that I like is that it has a readout. When you set it in automatic, I use that automatic gain setting on the 1000 pretty regularly. I use it and go to the second automatic, which is basically what they think is right plus a little bit. So it gives you a little bit more gain over the baseline setting. And you never knew what it was set at. So the Gold Monster 1000, the machine adjusted it, but there was no readout that told you what the machine was adjusting it to. Well, now the Gold Monster 2000, it has readout, so that when it's on that automatic setting, it'll tell you what the machine is setting it at, what it thinks is the right level of gain for the mineralization in the soil that it sees. So that's a really good thing. I like that thing, only, even though it's only a comparatively minor thing, but it lets you know where you're at as far as the ground balance, what the machine thinks is right. And so I'm real pleased with that. Now, you know, the things that are the same and other things, well, the Gold Monster 1000 comes with both a small coil like this, right? The little 5-inch plus coil, and then also a larger coil. And I got to tell you that on the 1000, I use both of those coils. I use the small coil for, you know, shallow, small gold, but I use the bigger coil for some areas where the soil's a little deeper and the mineralization isn't too crazy, and you can go over it and see a little deeper, because the bigger coil will allow you to see a little deeper. Minelab is not, the coils are not interchangeable. So you can't take your Gold Monster 1000 coil, because I have those, and put it on the 2000. I don't know what it'll do, whether it'll not work, give you an error, or blow your machine to smithereens. I don't know, but I know that you shouldn't exchange the coils. In general speaking, unless the manufacturer tells you specifically, hey, coil A is usable on these detectors, you shouldn't just, you know, try and plug another coil in, even if the plug unit is the same. So they're not making the larger coil for this yet. They're intending to. My contacts with Minelab have said they have no estimation as to when that other coil will be available. So until that's available, I will continue to use my Monster 1000 with the larger coil when I need the larger coil, right? So, but this will be the unit I'm using for any small coil applications. It's really sensitive. I expect that it will be a little bit more sensitive than the 1000, but we shall see. We're going to test it and see. And, you know, every application is its own unique thing. So, in stuff that's the same, this is another thing that I should say, is that this rod that I like, like I say, I like this style so much that I bought an accessory one for my 1000. Minelab is eventually going to come out and make these rods available so you can put it on the 1000. The rod is the same size. Everything is, you know, the rod, you know, will work for this, but if I took this rod and put my 1000 on it, it would still be just fine. So the rod is interchangeable. The coil is not interchangeable. And in fact, one of the funny things that they said with stuff they sent me was even the coil cover is not interchangeable. So I can't use an extra coil cover from the 1000 on the 2000. Even with the same size coil, the coil cover is not interchangeable. So other little pieces, you know, I think the arm cuff is the same, but the screen on the 2000, the screen is a little bit different. It's a little bit larger, and so You know, I like that it's a little bit larger, though it's not enough to make a huge difference. But I'm excited about the 2000. It's an excellent detector. I think that if you're looking to buy a metal detector, you might want to invest in the extra money, because the 2000 is going to be, it is like almost double the price of the 1000. And honestly, I don't know if Minelab is going to, how long they're going to continue to make the 1000. I didn't get that information. So they may be, I'm sure they're making it for at least a little while. So either way. And, you know, I always tell you when I do these videos about my friends at High Plains, and I know my friends at High Plains have these, and you can get, if you're interested in the 2000 and you want to buy one, you can get a discount on the 2000 through High Plains. Their discount code is Chris Ralph. It's CHRISRALPH, no space in between, all caps. And that's the discount code for ordering one of these from High Plains. They're good guys. But, you know, all of this, you know, metal detecting, having a good metal detector is great. And this is a great metal detector. But I tell people, finding gold is a skill. And having the right tools, hey, that's great. This is one of the right tools. It's a great tool. But it's about what you know. And successfully finding gold is a skill of knowledge. And the more you know, the more likely your success. And in order to be successful, I wrote a book called Fistful of Gold. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book and about High Plains right now. This is my book, Fistful of Gold. And like I say, it's an encyclopedia of prospecting. And, you know, if you want to go out and find your own nuggets, you want to go find your own gold, you want to be successful, well, it's about what you know. The guys who are finding gold, they have a knowledge. It's a skill. You know, I sometimes compare it to like being an electrician. Just buying a voltmeter at Home Depot doesn't make you a journeyman electrician. And having a sluice box or a metal detector or gold pan doesn't make you a successful prospector. It's about what you know, right? And that's why I wrote this book. Like I say, it's an encyclopedia. It has stuff that really is for beginners. It has stuff that's for mid-level guys that have learned the basics and want to learn more. And it has even some more advanced things for guys that have some experience but want to learn even more. And I've actually run into people in the field where they tell me something and I say, well, that's a pretty advanced concept. Where'd you learn that? And then they said, I read your book. So, you know, it has a real high rating on Amazon, and it's available either from Amazon or from High Plains. Now, High Plains Prospectors, they're an outfit that's a mail order prospecting equipment dealer. They have everything you can imagine, from, you know, a simple gold pan through basic metal detectors all the way to high-end metal detectors and other stuff. If you need it for the prospecting games, High Plains has it. And you can get a discount code with them. You know, if you order something from them, use the discount code Chris Ralph. It's CHRISRALPH in all caps, no space in between Chris and Ralph, and you can get a discount off of what you're buying from them. And then they have my book. You can get my book from them. And so they're really great guys, and I've dealt with them for a while, and I'm happy to recommend them because, like I say, they're good dudes. So if you want to learn more about prospecting, consider my book, Fistful of Gold. And be sure to take a look at my YouTube episodes. I've got lots of videos and lots of information on YouTube. And, you know, I oftentimes get people say, hey, Chris, why don't you make a video on XYZ, right? And it's like 90% of the time, it's like, I already have a video on XYZ. Take a look. And so if you're interested, look at my back catalog of videos, because there's a lot of good information there. And we'll see you in the next video.